Well, this is just a unit of true reflection of level of poverty in the land. Putting food on the table of many families is a daily struggle. However, midway into the government of change, how is this change manifesting in the lives of many families?
Particularly what the Empower program package has impacted in me as an individual. I desire to establish a computer center where every kind of production will be done.
She said she thanks President Muhammad Buhari for counting her among these that are benefited in this money, and that she is into the business, that she is doing it, but she has never been having any form of disappointment. But if the business is not moving, she will diversify.
These are only a few testimonies of what the Buhari administration is doing towards addressing poverty. These are beneficiaries of the conditional cash transfer of government, which is only one of the programs launched as part of the National Social Investment Project. Other components are the Empower, Homegrown School Feeding Program, and Government Enterprise and Empowerment, which are already impacting on the poor and the vulnerable.
The first is that we have shown that a massive program can be initiated and managed online. The Empower program is the largest post-tertiary jobs program in Africa. We now know that we can train large numbers of people electronically. Secondly, we have demonstrated that a transparent process of employment is possible.
Nigeria in the past has had various social investment programs, and a lot of them have failed. This one is designed to be sustainable. It is designed to succeed. It is designed to reach the people that are in need at the right places and at the right times.
For instance, more than 70,000 people have been empowered under conditional cash transfer in 12 states. 75,000 benefited with monthly stipends from Empower program, while 26 states have keyed in to begin the school feeding program targeting 5.5 million pupils. The Office of the Special Advisor to the President on Social Investment, Hajia Mariam Uwais, is coordinating the implementation of the National Social Investment Program, also known as NSIP.
We can't just go to everybody below the poverty line. We have to devise a means of ensuring that the poor people within a community are identified. Once they identify the parameters, the women together, the youth together, the elders, however the community wants to divide itself, we now ask them, okay, which households fall into this community? They identify them, then we put them together and we read out the lists and compare. Once you know the households appear twice or thrice, you know that those people are actually poor.
One question that remains unanswered is the level of states and federal government collaboration in ensuring even spread.
Luckily for us, the President and the Vice President understand, and they have mandated us to impact on Nigerians irrespective of all these considerations. A poor person is a poor person, irrespective of which political party. This is why we're asking the communities to give us the data.
Most importantly, we have ensured that our programs are in all states, not just APC states. So much so that governors in non-APC states even take the credit for some of these federal government programs.
Well, Hauwa, poverty is being said does not discriminate against tribe, religion, or gender. What is required is for people to think outside the box, to utilize the amount given to them as a support to empower themselves. The good news is that government is set to launch the second phase of the social investment program. Reporting for DateLine Services, Abdullahi Garba.
Commendable attempt, many would say, Abdullahi. However, the question of reaching the right people that are in true need at the right time and place is one observers believe needs to be emphasized by the executors of the programs. No doubt, the Niger Delta question is one that has remained a recurring decimal, no matter the administration in power. Issues agitating the minds of this region were considered top priority by the administration of Muhammadu Buhari at inception. 2 years down the line, let's join Emmanuel Lene in Port Harcourt, South Nigeria, on happenings in the area.
Before the coming on board of the Buhari administration in May 2015, some key issues agitated the minds of the people of Niger Delta. They include the concerns over the health and environmental impact of pipeline vandalism and illegal bunkering activities perpetrated by militants and economic saboteurs in the region. The United Nations Environmental Programme UNEP report on the cleanup of Ogoniland was released in 2001, but no concrete action was taken by previous administrations for its implementation. Barely 1 year in office, precisely on June 2, 2016, President Muhammadu Buhari, in fulfillment of his electioneering promise to the people, flagged off the implementation process for the Ogoniland cleanup exercise. The goal is to restore the polluted environment and end all forms of ongoing oil contamination in the area. It is also a major opportunity to bring new investment, create employment, drive improvement in the environment and health situation on the ground. Many describe the leadership shown in prioritizing the implementation of the UNEP report recommendations as highly commendable, as well as a bold step in the cleanup of all the oil-ravaged communities in the region.
Our livelihoods will be restored. Yes, the implementation is yet to take place because of the processes involved. And out of this due process, nobody is going to jump any other, what do I call it? We are not going to jump any stage. So it's a technical thing. And they are putting everything in order so that when they take off for the next 30 years, this program will be on. Ogoni people are going, their environment is going to be restored. Their environment is going to be free of all what we are going through today. There will be development in the area.
With over 400 billion naira said to have been lost annually to acts of vandalism caused by militant agitations in the region, the renewed federal government Niger Delta collaboration towards a long-lasting and permanent resolution of the Niger Delta crisis is described by many as a key stride of the present administration. With the negative impact of sabotage of oil and gas pipelines, which has led to severe limitation in power and revenue generation, the engagement of Niger Delta communities and promise of license for model refineries by the acting president, Yemi Osinbajo, is already yielding fruitful results. The rate of pipeline vandalism and bombings has drastically reduced, while the production capacity of the refineries, which is the mainstay of the nation's economy, has also improved. This, to many, is also a major achievement of the President Buhari-led federal government.
And talk about even the border of Boni Road is in the budget. So Ogoniland will be opened up. So in the Niger Delta, in Ogoniland, in River State, he has done much. Are you talking about the transportation that is going to come? The coastline transportation railroad?
People haven't realized the genuineness in his vision. That is why you are seeing the reduction in pipeline, vandalism, activities of boys that will not allow peace reign in that area.
President came and brought the issue of this modular refineries. Every place became calm. What we're expecting is the government has promised and they should actualize it.
You recall that the bombings in various pipelines was so much over the years. You will recall that a number of discussions were held, a number of agreements were held. To that extent, the issue of vandalism within the zone has drastically reduced. I think for as a person that is a major achievement.
While the president has been commended for the good way in the implementation of the Ogoni land cleanup, the people call for close monitoring of the process and provision of palliative. In Port Harcourt for DateLine 360, I'm Emmanuel Nene.
Show that monitoring, I believe, will have to be escalated to ensure successes recorded are sustained. And as a follow-up to the achievements recorded in the Niger Delta region, and by extension, Nigeria's oil and gas industry, Yeo sincerely spoke with key industry players on efforts to reposition the sector.
Picked some of the 7 critical areas. One obviously is policy and regulation. How do we ensure that whatever we're doing in those areas, that we're aggressive and fast enough to catch up with the changing dynamics of the industry? How about security? What do we do with security to make it holistic? Security challenges have been key in terms of production in Nigeria. The whole idea of 7 big wins, which was launched by the president, by the way, was to ensure that going forward we have a holistic solution to the Niger Delta issues. Some of that is playing out already, and we've seen very substantial changes in those areas.
Efforts of government and NPC and the operators to enter into dialogue with the communities and help to stabilize our production from as low as 1.5 at some point, averaging about 1.7 to 2 million barrels per day. That's what we're talking about. So the production has improved, and we hope before the end of this year we will reach the 2.3 million barrels.
Gina project, which is coming in 2018, is going to add about 200 barrels per day. FOD project coming in 2018. We have the Chevron Sonam project coming in 2018. We equally have the Ikike and Focadozoki projects. They are all projects lined up to come in before 2020. So we believe that by the time these projects come in, we'll be able to meet up the 2020 target. It means that there will be more money for the Federal Federation account.
We've done all kinds of tests in those areas, surface geochemistry, some ground magnetics and all that. So we're at a point where we can say very confidently that there's significant hydrocarbon signatures in many of the areas we're going to. We're not experimenting, we're not fooling around. There's real stuff. In Bauchi right now, we have 2 crews that are working. Between those 2 crews, we have over 3,000 people employed. That's a large number of people to have working in one engagement. We've set up a training school in Bauchi Metropolis where we're training young graduates of geological sciences. And these are the people who will now provide a local resource pool eventually when we go into exploration and production. Chad Basin side, we have just concluded our engagement with the military to re-enter the basin.
Started 2016 with the price modulation mechanism, bearing in mind the fact that there was no provision for subsidy because government need to release the money hitherto being used on subsidy payment for development of other sectors. The appropriate pricing mechanism or framework actually release funds that hitherto government would have paid on subsidy to other sectors. Thus, as at last year, if you calculate the exposure that government is supposed to have paid, runs close to over 500 billion.
I think we are moving in the right direction. First, we've been able to get very, very close to the actual demand consumption of PMS in the country. And that is why you are seeing a lot of serenity in the marketplace.
The refineries are being put in place. Most of the refineries are performing optimally presently. And I believe with the effort of this administration, we are looking at a way where we can be able to partner with the government in developing more modular refineries through public-private partnership. With all this in place, before the end of this administration, I believe petroleum product scarcity is going to be a history.
With the concerted effort of the government involving the twin approach of both stick and carrot, but more of carrot than stick, we've been able to stabilize the crude sources, as well as also rescue the System 2C. We have had sufficient supply of crude oil from the crude oil fields, as well as also have a high level of integrity on System 2C. That as we speak today, we are receiving crude supply from Wari to Kaduna.
They are loading everything. Even Ashford, you see, they are loading. Nothing they are not loading. But before we are not loading, but now we are happy. Everything is moving smoothly. There is no problem.
We have 2 jetties. This is one of them, the new Atlas Cove jetty. And this jetty can discharge a vessel of up to 45 metric tons, 45,000 metric tons. That can be up to 57, 60 million liters.
I'm here at the famous Atlas Cove offshore Lagos, responsible for the supply and distribution of petroleum products to Lagos, the entire southwest and other parts of the country. There are about 11 tanks here which store different refined petroleum products. A particular tank here has a capacity of 20 million liters for the storage of petrol. Without interruption on the pipelines from the Atlas Cove to other parts of the country, there is high possibility that 80% of the national petrol needs will be achieved with just one tank here.
The government of Muhammadu Buhari is displaying a lot of transparency. Everybody see the EFCC, they are doing their job. You see what they have recovered for, even for few moments, this few years, less than 2 years in the administration. You can see what they have recovered, and they are recovering every day. That encourages the investors to see that our government is doing well, our government is transparent.
We've solved the cash call issue. We've been able to bring sanity to the pump islands. People buy their fuels. We've been able to take away the massive subsidy that was there before, including the Secretary General in OPEC. So a lot has been achieved, and a lot more still can be achieved. If we could do this much in 2 years, if we go at the pace that we've gone, which is almost a frenzy pace, I think we can achieve more.
No doubts, Nigeria's oil and gas industry continues to occupy a strategic position despite government's diversification drive. However, for the nation and people to derive sustained maximum benefits, a total behavioral change towards national assets, experts say, is needed. Our last report in this edition by Anthony Forson takes us through a campaign pursued aggressively by the Buhari administration to align the people's thinking with a culture of doing things the right way.
I say, with the glory of Almighty Allah, change begins with me.
On the 8th of September 2016, President Muhammadu Buhari launched the Change Begins With Me campaign. The initiative is aimed at educating and enlightening Nigerians to appreciate the values of accountability and integrity.
I am therefore appealing to all Nigerians to be part of this campaign. Our citizens must realize that the change they want to see begins with them. Before you ask, where is the change they promise us? You must first ask, how far have I changed my ways?
Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, and the Director General, National Orientation Agency, Malam Garba Abari, set the tone.
In simple parlance, it is geared towards achieving an attitudinal change. As they say, you cannot continue to do things the same way and expect a different result.
Since then, the Information and Culture Minister has taken the campaign to the doorsteps of some critical stakeholders like the police and corporate Nigerians. Messages that cut across our social lives like these were designed to drive home the point. With a midterm scorecard at hand by a government that has adopted a participatory approach in doing business, what has been the impact of the Change Begins With Me campaign?
We shape our youths we imbibe the culture of why they have to be the change they want to see in the society. So the Change Begins With Me program is campaign is a very good program.
Change is not about a group of people or is an individual thing, it's a personal thing. The way you do your things. For instance, you go to work on time when others go late. That means you have developed that change attitude in you. Not doing what others are doing, but doing the right thing at the right time for production to be effective.
If not for anything, Hauwa, I'm sure you believe that there is a shift from the way we do things these days. For DateLine 360, Anthony Forson.
No doubt, Anthony, there is a visible change in the way majority of Nigerians conduct affairs today. However, it remains an ongoing project. An objective assessment of the Buhari administration midway is seen by many as work in progress, a gradual gravitation towards the ideal Nigeria. The task of fixing Nigeria, according to the drivers, remains one likened to a bicycle. To keep the balance, one must keep moving. We're open to your questions, comments and suggestions on DateLine 360 at nta.ng or at NTA News Now. We appreciate your time. Many thanks and bye for now.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Along a flyway, seasonally, birds migrate often north and south between breeding and wintering grounds. Many species migrate, and these occur naturally on one hand, even though out of necessity compelled by other environmental factors on the other hand. This migration carries high cost in predation and mortality, including hunting by humans. Migration is driven primarily by availability of food. It occurs mainly in the northern hemisphere, where birds are funneled onto specific routes by natural barriers such as the Mediterranean and Caribbean seas. Migration dates back to about